V.
And I'm Tech.
And this is Console Guts.
Show where we talk about what makes the good old days so good.
So today we're actually going to be talking about probably one of my favorite things in games, which is we're going to talk about cheating. We're going to talk a little bit about where it is that maybe we cheated a lot or a little, and then we are going to kind of discuss about maybe what actually qualifies as cheating in a video game. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started talking about where I know I'm a cheater. All right, let me go ahead and let you guys know that. So anybody who's ever watched me and thought like I'm a hardcore gamer or whatever, all right, I'm a hardcore player. I play a lot, but I cheated a lot as a kid. In particular, and I'm not even holding this up for that reason. I believe Twilight Princess was the first Zelda I ever went through without a guide. I don't believe I played 007 GoldenEye without all the cheats turned on until I was at least 18 or 19. Because my brother had it and he had all the cheats unlocked, so I didn't even have to do any of the work to get the cheats. I know I played through Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time with all of the like normal, but I used like a strategy guide the whole time. But I know that after that I Game Sharked it like hardcore. Oh yeah, dude, I was like flying and stuff, like all sorts of ridiculous stuff. But to be honest, as a result, I'm actually not as good at gaming as I'd like to be. Because whereas a lot of my friends, they tried their way through these games, I didn't.
If you didn't have to, if you had all those cheats unlocked, it's really, really hard to pick up a new game. Like I remember this with Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I'm like, GTA games are known for their cheats, aren't they?
Oh my god.
Oh, I looked them up and I'm like, oh, I can't ever play this game without cheating now. I have no idea what happens. And
Sims.
Oh, The Sims.
I have never played, to this day, I've never played a normal game of Sims.
Oh
I think it was like Rosebud, like something.
Oh.
There's Rosebud, and then you did a whole bunch of symbols, and you'd get like as much money as you put symbols.
Oh, and I think it was Ka-Ching in later versions, or Motherload, or something like that. Oh man, it's so whenever it's so easy to cheat in a game, it's hard. There's a couple of games that I think a lot of people don't have a normal experience with. I think Sims is a very good example there. I know a lot of people I ever introduced Grand Theft Auto to, they never played without cheats just because it makes the game so much more fun. Granted, those games are fun anyways.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, I know Grand Theft Auto 3 was my major Grand Theft Auto that I played. I never got out of the Liberty City or the...
that's the first island.
That first island or whatever. Yeah, I never left that first island. I remember I loved Tank Tank Tank. I played on the PC, so the codes were really easy.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like Tank Tank Tank, I believe, was Give Me a Tank. Or it was just Give Me a Tank. One of the two. Anyways, but, yeah. So I never played that game right either.
So, those are obvious examples of, yes, you're cheating. That is not the way the developers meant for you to play the game like a normal game.
See, this is where, yeah, it is cheat because they're called cheat codes. So you can't argue semantics here. But it does become a really interesting argument when you get into certain games where cheating becomes such an important part of them. Okay? That, yes, it's cheating, but is it necessarily bad, or does it say something negative about that player's skill? Now, of course, the way you play games is the way you play games. But like a game like Contra, the Konami code, I just put it in,
First of all, who doesn't know that code?
And who doesn't play Contra without the code? Like every person I've ever played with grabs that controller, and first thing they do is they put in the Contra code or the Konami code to play it.
Right? And for a game like this, back in the days of Nintendo Hard, what person, how many people can you poll and say, yes, I have beat Contra 1 without the Contra code?
James Rolfe.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I mean, it's something like you sit down and it's like a challenge. It's like the Swordless challenge in Zelda, something you have to go out of your way to do. But that's how they programmed it initially. You're supposed to only have that first set of lives, and that was it.
Now, Contra was originally, of course I know, Contra was originally an arcade game.
Yes.
And it was a remarkably brutal arcade game because it was a side-scrolling shooter. It's this game. But the thing about it was that it was made during that time period where video games were kind of started to get to that point where you could coin your way through a game, and Contra was one of the few arcade games that you could not coin your way through. That they would give you like 3 or 4 lives or whatever.
And then continues.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you were done. Like when you ran out, you were done. So it was a lot like playing Contra on the NES, where you have that, like, you know, the benefit of playing arcade games, which is a whole nother thing to talk about when it comes to cheating, is that you can coin your way through a game. Is that, you know, if you want to play House of the Dead, you don't have to be so good at House of the Dead, you beat it on one coin, that you can keep pumping quarters in to get the full story.
Especially with modern arcades that, you know, have like time-based arcade games, or every game is free to play, you just pay to get in. Definitely, that ends up being a thing. So like a lot of new gamers come in and they think, why do people think this game is so hard? Yeah, I'm using a few continues, but that's not that much money. But actually, like, if you live near one of those arcades, definitely support your local arcade if there is one. Go to one of those places. Keep track of how many quarters it takes you to beat a game.
I know I kept track of Simpsons. It took me $20 to beat Simpsons.
$20. Oh my... That was 80 lives. 80 quarters you pumped into that arcade machine.
So, and it's not even a hard arcade game.
It's just...
like, I just suck at it. But, yeah, it took me about $20 to beat Simpsons.
Right? Like...
Yeah.
So that...
I legitimately coined my way through House of the Dead 2 with somebody.
Really?
I don't know how much we spent. It was somewhere like that. It was somewhere like $15 or something. But the two of us legitimately coined our way through House of the Dead 2.
There you go. So I mean, depending on whether or not you call that cheating, like, because you are paying for it, that's what they're designed for. That's what the developers had in mind. Do you consider that cheating, or is that just the way things are?
See, I really think when it comes to arcade games, it comes down to there's a lot of indications about how the game should be played. For example, House of the Dead 4 only records your high score on the high scoreboard if you beat the game.
Really?
Yes. So whether you beat it on 1 credit or you beat it with 300 or 80 credits, it's going to record only your high score when you actually beat the game. So clearly, this was a game where they intended people to play all the way through, regardless.
Yeah, that makes sense. I never knew that,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually have scores in House of the Dead 4 on the Twin Galaxy side,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, that's the reason why we had to. That's the reason why we had to put in the code that showed our score. Is because it didn't keep track of the score properly.
That's right. I remember that now. So
trigger, trigger, grenade, grenade, trigger, grenade, trigger. Just so you know, that's the code for it.
just in case
If you ever want to see your code, your score on House of the Dead 4.
So back to NES games then. Like there's codes that give you more lives. What about a game that just has unlimited continues?
Like Kirby?
Kirby, Castlevania 1, the games that force you to say, you know what, I'm done. I'm putting you down.
I really don't think it's cheating.
Definitely not.
Like Kirby's designed to be easy and Castlevania's designed to be hard, and both those have unlimited continues for that reason. The Castlevania would be it's already a frustrating game. It would be overly frustrating if they only gave you 3 lives to get through it or something like that, you know? That would be absurd. And then Kirby is meant to be an easy game, you know? Like, Kirby is supposed to be the beginner platform for Nintendo. Anybody who says Kirby's are too easy, it's because they're meant for the beginner. Their idea was you play Kirby before you play Mario. Like, legitimately, like, Kirby's supposed to be like this.
Infinite jumps. There you go. You know, make sure you don't fall down the hole.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the kid-friendly version of a gameplay style, I guess. Words,
definitely. So, let's get into, I guess, the more detailed semantics. Strategy guides.
That's mine.
I mean, I've done it too. I remember actually, not the Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I called that 1-700 number or whatever to get through the Forest Temple. I was like, as a child, I was reduced to close to tears. I probably shed a tear or two. I'm not going to admit it on camera, but there was one part of the Forest Temple where I just couldn't get to the room I needed to get to. Why can't I get to this room?
The Forest Temple's music is infuriating. If I could just point it out.
It's just like it's teasing you. It like laughs at you. It's just a little bit of right. So I was so frustrated. I called that 1-700 number. What about that?
Oh man, see, it's hard. It's hard for me to say because is calling that number all that different than asking your brother?
See, like they had actual people there.
Because like I don't necessarily think it would be considered. I don't necessarily think I'd call it cheating if I asked my brother, "Hey, Dan, do you know how to get through this temple? I mean, I know I have my brother do it all the time. Mario, he's the one who taught me how to get to Star Road. Like, I wasn't cheating. My brother taught me how to get to Star Road. On Mario 4.
But then again, we have our buddy Uriah, who is a complete purist. Whenever we played Zelda for the last episode, he's like, so did you find all that yourself? Did you remember all that? I'm like, the last time I beat this game and got all this stuff, even with, help, was close to 10 years ago.
I didn't need help on Zelda until the final dungeon. I did need help on that.
Because I went through and I completed everything. He's like, how much of that did you find on your own? I'm like, a decent amount? And he is always like that with these games. He will not look at anything. He's the person who, he will beat you repeatedly in Mortal Kombat and flick things around, trying like 4 different combinations for a fatality until he gets it right. Mm-hmm. And it's not, even though it's a fighting game, it's not frustrating for him at all that he's not learning it. He's just playing and he's like, I want to try that again. What is that? Or he tries a combo or anything.
Well, actually, the only time I ever beat Uriah is when he's trying shit.
Really? He's like, hold on a sec. But he never says hold on a sec. He's like, or he's like, hey guys, watch me. Watch this. And
well, it's basically guaranteed. If we play Mortal Kombat 2, I'm going to beat him if he picks Shang Tsung. Because he doesn't play Shang Tsung. He plays all the other characters and picks Shang Tsung to try to transform. So he's sitting there doing this, and I beat him then. But he's a fantastic player. These, on the other hand, these are interesting because I to this day, nowadays, I make a point not to buy these because I don't want to go, because to understand like a strategy guide using it in a way like, hey, I'm having a hard time through this, so I'm going to get through here. I'm going to be legit. You know why this book's so torn up? I started on page 1 when I turned on the system, and then I was closing the last page when I beat the game. Like, I legitimately played this step by step by step through the game using this. So I wasn't as much playing it through my own experience as much as I was, playing it through this book's guide. And so you could, I mean,
did you have less fun with it? Do you think? Would you have enjoyed it more getting to the end with only 16 hearts?
I think as a kid,
masks?
I would never have finished this game. I think if it wasn't for this book, knowing me, I would have not beaten this without that.
Would that be because it was too hard because you didn't find enough heart pieces, or just because it's the frustration of knowing there's something there but you don't know where it is?
This gave me the drive to continue forward because it always let me know that I had something to look forward to. That, I'd always have an idea. Because one of the things that really frustrates me is I don't ever know. I like games that tell me how much % of the way the game I'm through. It frustrates me when I'm playing a game and I have no idea if I'm 1 hour away from the end of the game or 20 hours away from the end of the game. I kind of like knowing. And so one major thing that these things helped me with was I had a good idea of how much longer I had till the game was over.
Right. Yeah, I see that. What was the last game you played through with zero help? From brand new, you got the game, you put it in, didn't touch internet, friends, nothing.
The last game?
The last brand new game you got that you went all the way through without touching anything.
It's most of them, to be honest. I know I didn't. Mario 3D Land? World? Mario 3D World?
Mm-hmm.
Wii U? I didn't do it for that. Most of my Wii and Wii U games, pretty much all of those I didn't get any help with.
Yeah, mine was Tearaway, that PlayStation Vita game with the little paper figures. Amazing game, by the way. If you happen to be one of the 10% of the 2% of the population with a Vita, Tearaway's an amazing game, by the way. And that would be one of those games that as I went through it, I saw it gave you a little checklist. Here's all the stuff that you can find here in this section. And I was frustrated because I only found 2 things. I'm like,
yeah, like I said, I make it a point nowadays just to generally not use strategy guides where they're not needed. Which brings me to a particular strategy guide here, which one day I'll actually do a whole video on, is this guy right here. Nintendo Power Strategy Guide. This is Nintendo Power issue number 17. It's the Final Fantasy Strategy Guide. If you are not playing Final Fantasy 1 with this guide, you are actually missing out on a part of the experience. Because Final Fantasy as a game is fantastic. What this adds as far as story and atmosphere is tremendous. Here, let me read the way it tells you things. Alright, I'm going to read to you guys. Alright?
Because even though being a pretty diehard Final Fantasy fan, at least up among the two of us, I have never seen this before. This is actually pretty amazing for me.
Okay, so let's see here. So instead of just telling you where to go, someone understand that this was also meant to sell the game. So this is just telling me where to go here, okay? In the castle of Elf, you will learn about the cruel fate of the sleeping prince. But you will also hear about an herb that can awaken him, and that I'm reading this all shitty, but that how do you say his name, man? Mote. Read this to them. I'm not doing it epically enough. Make it as epic as you can.
In the castle of Elf, you will learn about the cruel fate of the sleeping prince, but you will also hear about an herb that can awaken him, and that Matoya has such an herb. By helping Matoya and the prince, you will earn entrance into the locked treasure vault.
So, like, everything is written in a way that's, I don't know, it kind of pulls you into the game. The 4 light warriors are venturing forth into their swift sailing ship. Across dangerous seas, you've guided them to share shores of vast new lands with many dangers and many mysteries. Here you will venture into dark caves. You will explore castles and earn wealth and experience. But most important, you will help people in great need. This book fills in so many gaps as far as story and atmosphere. I was like, okay, Final Fantasy. I don't know, it seems alright. And then I got this and started playing through this, and I kind of went through it point by point. It made me fall in love with it. Like, here I am, someone who hates turn-based fighting engines. You know that. Okay? I love Final Fantasy 1. And I love it. It's right up there with Zelda with me at this point. And it's because this book helped me roleplay. It helped me get into RPG because what was missing from the game was in this book. So, whereas, maybe this is cheating, this is a cheating. Like, this cheating, I don't know if this enhanced the game for me. This made it easier. If all strategy guides were built like this bad boy, this whole thing, I'm really sorry you guys have to sit through my bad reading. I don't like reading out loud, but this strategy guide, even if it is cheating, it's the best kind that you can do if you consider it cheating.
But not like there was definitely some limitations to those 8-bit cartridges. Contra, you don't need much alliteration. There's not much there beyond a dude, shooting his way through aliens and other soldiers to save the world. There's not much else there. For an epic like Final Fantasy, a little bit was needed, Spell names were limited to 4 characters, so Ice 1, Ice 2, and Ice 3, left a little bit to be desired.
Well, and also, as far as cheating is concerned, this book really pissed me off. Because the very last dungeon, it doesn't really give you any information at all.
Really? Just looks like some maps, and that's about it.
Yep, they don't tell you where anything is, what's inside. Like the rest of it, they kind of tell you where each thing is. The last dungeon, they're like, you've made it this far, young light warrior. Now you're on your own. And it's cool because regardless, it made me finish the game legitimately. So even though it pulled me through the whole game, it still would not, which leads me to believe,
at the door.
That they made sure. I don't know. This is good.
So we've strayed quite a bit from the original topic of cheating. So I mean, obviously, cheat codes, they're put there by the developers, though.
Yeah.
It's obviously not wrong to use them. The developers put them there. They were meant to be discovered.
They make the game more fun.
So what about using, say, a glitch to get past an entire dungeon, like Zelda Ocarina of Time? We've been talking about Zelda a lot. It's full of these kind of things. If you watch professional speedrunners, or just go on YouTube, type in Zelda speedrun, you will see crazy things happen you would never expect with this game.
I'm also left, when it comes to glitches, to me, that it is still a part of the game. I just don't even view that as cheating, because that's capitalizing on a programming mistake. It's not cheating, it is the game. The game, maybe the game wasn't initially intended to, which perhaps you could make that as an argument for cheating, that, hey, that's not how you're meant to play. But at the end of the day, how many times do Magic the Gathering players find a card that kind of breaks the game, and it's not considered cheating that they use it, It's just the people who made the game clearly didn't recognize they were making such an overpowered strategy.
I mean, okay, that's one thing there. say whenever you can break the Deku stick and it gives you a crap ton of power if you stab properly. I know that's a technique that's used. There's a difference for me at least between using that to kill a boss really quickly and then going out of bounds to go somewhere else. Like,
see, I don't mind that even the going out of bounds. I think the only time where glitches to me become cheating is like the way that people glitch run Link to the Past, where they will skip the final boss fight entirely.
Oh, how they just like it's the shifty walk or whatever. It involves like pressing up and down at the same time on a controller somehow. Something that
they work their way through the walls and they can actually walk into the area where the Triforce is kept, which triggers roll credits. To me, if you're beating the game, you at least have to beat the final boss somewhere along the lines. I don't know. Like I feel like that's where I start being like, you didn't really beat the game. You just glitched into credits. You know.
That's a pretty nice
distinction. And that really comes from Twin Galaxies' background. Is that Twin Galaxies, they don't allow glitch speedruns, but they always define the beating of the game as laying the final strike on the final boss. That's usually what they'll say.
Yeah,
that's
like, pretty standard speedrun timer.
Yeah, exactly. That like when you hit that last blow on Ganon, that's when you win. So if you skip Ganon, you didn't beat the game. You know. So as far as glitching is concerned, I consider it just like an overpowered card in a game. That it's not cheating. It's maybe douchey somewhere along the line, but it's not. You broke the game, okay? You didn't cheat. As far as these things are concerned, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like
that's pretty rough.
That's a hard area. If you guys tell me in the comments, are strategy guys cheating? And if they are cheating, are they good cheating? Are they bad cheating? Like, is this bad?
Like, I think I'm gonna set my line at if you use it point by point without the alliteration there. I think that's excusable because I think the people at Nintendo obviously like had some type of either they had some additional stuff from Square or something to either sell the game to give you more into it. That's meant to be a companion. This, if you do it point by point, I would consider point-by-point cheating. If you like, I need this one heart piece. I know it's around here somewhere. I can see it up there.
So is going to game FAQs any different than talking to your friends at school?
Ooh.
Because I'm just going to put this out here. I don't think getting advice from friends or family is cheating. Period. That if your brother knows where Star Road is, like I said, that's how I know where Star Road is. My brother taught me. If your brother knows, he tells you that's how games are played. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a big part of that culture way back when anyways, all those Zelda secrets. Mm-hmm. They were pretty crazy to find, so someone stumbled upon them.
It's definitely a Nintendo Power game right there.
Definitely. I wouldn't consider that, but like game FAQs, they put it out in that style though. They put it like, at least most of the ones I've read, they put it out in a step-by-step tutorial of go here, there's an item there if you want to get it. To beat this boss you do this. And it's all nice and sectioned.
So are you going to stand by just point for point is cheating, but if I go there for random advice, it's not?
I would say that, yes.
I will say, it's kind of weird. There's some games where I care and there's some games I don't. Because of how I abused these as a kid, if I go to game FAQs once for a Zelda game, I feel bad about myself. But I think it's more because I know for a fact I have never played through Zelda Ocarina of Time without not knowing how to beat it.
Oh.
I've never gone through that experience. Because I spoiled myself. I'm holding up Majora's Mask, but I spoiled myself by going point for point through Ocarina of Time.
I understand that point. There you go.
So in particular, as a big Zelda fan, I love Zelda. I'm always a launch Zelda person. That I really feel that, for me personally, knowing that like certain experiences like Majora's Mask, I don't know what it's like not to know everything about the game. I like to get to have that experience with Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and I experienced all those games organically, and it felt great.
Definitely. I understand that there. I know I went through Twilight Princess slightly point per point because it was just so big, and like I think I encountered some issues where like I was just dying, or I was getting very close to dying, and it was frustrating for me. So like I went point for point. I'm like, okay, heart piece 1, heart piece 2, heart piece 3. Okay, I want to make sure I find these, and then I kind of went back through organically. Skyward Sword, no, none of that. I looked later on. I found everything I could find. I
You went through Skyward Sword really fast.
I
if
did
recall.
go. I think it was 8 hours.
Yeah,
I
cleared
blew through.
See, I did the same thing with Twilight Princess. I think I beat Twilight Princess in 2 days.
Yeah, it was 2 days.
I remember I was an hour late for work because I was facing Ganon.
It's okay. It's okay.
It was a gas station job. Let's go ahead and face it. Unless you're a manager at a gas station, you probably aren't going to be there forever. So, if you're a manager, then hell yeah, dude, you manager. That's cool.
And definitely, for most games, I do try and do a lot of organic. There's a lot of games that I don't think would benefit from a step-by-step in-depth analysis.
No More Heroes. No More Heroes was a game that I just never once felt like I needed. Yeah, it was one of my it's one of my absolute favorite games on the Wii, and it just no part of me needed that. I just sat down, played through No More Heroes 2. I played through in one day. I just woke up in the morning, and the next thing I know it was night, and I was killing the final boss.
Right. That game Tearaway. It has that style of gameplay where it leads you through. It's mainly a puzzle platformer, but as it leads you through, it puts in those little things to teach you, and then all of a sudden you're putting all that together through a big obstacle course. You could have used a strategy guide for that, but you didn't need it. The game did a very good job of showing you the primaries of the game and how to beat it and what to do where as it went through in the narrative. And yeah, sure, there's all those collectibles, all the little presents, and all the little pictures that you could take that would get you all the papercraft things. There's definitely, there would be a reason for a company to put out a strategy guide, but I definitely think it wouldn't have added anything enjoyment-wise to it, no matter what. That was a very organic game to play through.
An interesting thing about cheating, to me, is that there's cheating and then there's also cheating yourself. Okay? And I think that's a big thing with me with the Zelda thing, was the cheating myself. But one area where I'm going to get into, because I want to segue into emulation, is that to me it's not cheating to emulate, but you are cheating yourself to emulate. That it's generally you're going to have a better experience if you play the legitimate game. That really, this game is meant to be seen on this screen. Its sound is meant to be put through these speakers. It's meant to be played with this controller. And even though you can still experience the game and enjoy it, you are not getting... You may even be able to get 98% the experience, but you aren't getting 100% the experience, of the game as it was intended. Because the fact is, when they were programming this game, it was on a CRT computer. That's how they created the art. That's how they judged the sound.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, well... I have played a decent amount of games emulated. I
used to be a huge pirate. Just so I don't pirate anymore at all. I'm actually I'm violently against it.
We've had discussions.
Yeah, but I used to be such a big pirate that I would be downloading one game. I'd be playing a game only long enough for the time it took me to download the other game.
I played a decent amount of Zelda 1 on an emulator. There's been quite a few games that... Well, there's a couple different scenarios here. One, a fan-based translation I wouldn't have gotten to experience until much later that I didn't know they were ever going to release. The original Japanese Final Fantasy II for the Famicom.
Yeah.
I played a fan-based translation via emulator. Stuff like that. There's a whole lot of little things there. There's a whole lot of different... circumstances, that's the word I'm looking for. There's a whole lot of circumstances where you can justify one way or the other, you wouldn't be able to get any other experience. That one, and especially on extremely rare games, I can't even think of any off the top of my head. There's a couple of NES ones that outrageously high. The Earthbound games, all the Earthbound games are ridiculously expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with Michael that there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of art differences, subtle little things that you don't get to experience.
Yeah, and you may not think they matter offhand, but there's a reason why there's even beanbag chairs here in front of this. I'm not serious about playing games as much as I'm serious about having. When I do decide to play a game, it's exactly the way I wanted it to be, and exactly the way that I remember it being. I'm a nostalgia chaser. I felt nostalgia for the first time when I was like 17 or something, and I was addicted. And I go above and beyond to chase that same feeling.
Okay, so what about, because I told you that I didn't play through the original Zelda the first time on an NES. I played through on my Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Do you feel like I was missing out on part of the experience?
I think yeah. I think to a certain extent you were. I don't necessarily think that's cheating, but I do think to a certain extent like yeah, you missed out on a part of it, I mean, hell, for NES games, I mean, to a certain extent, I am making a certain amount of allowance for myself having a top loader, because even messing,
blow it,
yeah,
like
even messing with your NES to make it work is a part of recreating exactly the way that game was played. You know what I mean?
So you're a big purist here. I guess that's the word I'm going to use to describe it. You want the exact feeling you would have had back in the 80s.
If I look around, like there's no doubt, I mean, you guys can't see it, but there's a leg lamp over there, Virtual Boy's over there. Like, I don't mind reminding myself that I'm not in the 80s or the 90s, but the thing is, I like doing, like, it's really fun to sit down with your girlfriend, Cheetos, and on the old TV and playing some Mario or something, passing for Mario. Like, it's a cool experience.
Yeah, and I find it really hard, especially with things like save states and not necessarily slow down. Save states are the big thing there. I find it really hard to want to sit down at a computer, even if I've had a PlayStation controller hooked up to the computer before, or I've had the controls bound to the keyboard where I don't mind playing. It didn't bother me at all. I find it really hard to just pick up a game from a save state and start going again. I've played through.
See, my problem with save states is they're too damn tempting. I can't give up. They're too tempting for me. Like, I will use them if they're there, and save states are cheating. Period. End of story. Like, if you're using save states, which I would like to, we're going to segue into the ones on the Wii U here in a second. I think that's an important thing to talk about.
I think my question ends up tying in with that, so that works out. So, I'm assuming to clarify, you're talking about reusing the same save state over and over to get through. So instead of, you die, you go back to your actual, the last
exactly.
time
you're like, I have trouble with this jump. I'm going to save state here. So that I can I failed,
okay, definitely. But I did play through, I think it was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I played through that in its entirety before, because I think I didn't have a copy for the PSX. And the Xbox Live Arcade version wasn't out yet, which I did buy, mind you. So, no pirate there. I did play through it there too. And it was very good recreation, by the way. Very good port. But I played through that entirely, for the most part, with the use of save states. I didn't really do what we said, where, if I died, I just went back to the closest save state.
You used it as a save point.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I'm done for the day, I'm going to save state here, let's go. And
I have kind of mixed feelings about that, because I can see where you're coming from as far as a necessity, just like this game was made for a different time, a less busy time maybe. But I also do feel like if Metroid has save points, it has save points for a reason, because it wants you to challenge yourself to beat the boss and then have to struggle your way to that save point. That's a part of the game. That you can't just put it down. Some of the versions of Mortal Kombat don't let you pause. It's very intentional to recreate that arcade experience of that. Like, once you start playing, you are here. You're stuck with this game.
Put aside
save states make it very easy for you to circumvent that. And whereas, once again, I'm talking at that kind of purist level, that, like, if it's your thing, it's your thing. But I would qualify that to a certain extent as cheating, because that's not how the game was designed. Which brings me into this gray area. Wii U and its Virtual Console has save states. But these are Nintendo games being reported by Nintendo and adding in save states. And I don't know what to think of it. Am I playing an emulation of the old game and cheating? Or am I playing the Wii U version that has a really interesting save function?
Well, I mean, to clarify, those restore points can't be used like save states.
Yes, they can.
They can?
Absolutely.
Then I don't use them that way, because I just don't bother, because it takes too much time to go through the touchscreen menus.
I can legitimately get in front of like, it's not as quick as save states, but I can get in front of it. I can say, save right here, and then fail that jump, and then just press the shoulder button that pulls up, and press the screen, and it pulls me right back to that same spot. It's a save state.
I think what I was thinking about was at least for a computer emulator, you can I think it's 10 save state slots, so you can make a slideshow. I think part of me was thinking that. So if you can use that those save states.
Absolutely. If my character is here and I save here and I walk here and then I press that button again, I go right back here. That's how the Wii U's emulation works.
Man, that's rough. Because
once again, you're in this gray area that this is not the way the original game was intended, but however, what are you actually playing here? You aren't emulating the game illegally, so it's not that. You've legally gotten this game in this condition.
I think we're gonna go back to that statement of if you use it like a save state, it's cheating. But if you use it like most people are typically going to use it. Oh, I'm done with this right now. I don't have a save state. Someone else wants the TV, and I don't want to play it just on the pad by itself. Save state, go in my room, do something else.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I think that'd be the best way to quantify whether or not.
So that's gonna bring us down to. I got one more idea after this that I want to kind of go over, but I don't think this is gonna be much of a conversation. Game Shark, Game Genie,
Turbo controllers.
Turbo controllers are totally cheating. I'm sorry.
Turbo controllers are totally
They're cheating. Okay, they're totally cheating. I like to say that they aren't because I love them, but yeah, they're cheating.
What about a game designed in a way that that's still cheating? I was going to bring up NES Ghostbusters. Whenever you finally get up to the tower,
designed to make you buy a turbo controller. I have a controller for the Sega Genesis that has pre-programmed in Mortal Kombat moves.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, you just hit a button and you do the fatality.
All right. To end this up, because we aren't going to be able to rate anything, I actually would like to go back and forth for a second. Some of our favorite cheats. All right, I'm going to start off with ABAC ABB. That's the blood code for. Write these down, kids. Pro tips. So ABAC ABB is the blood code for Mortal Kombat 1 on the Sega Genesis. You do it. It has this little script, and it talks about the code of a warrior, and you put the code in that script. Go.
IDKFA. It's a Doom 1 cheat. It's not God mode. IDDQD. I actually don't remember God mode as much as I remember IDKFA because it gave you all the ammo, all the keys.
Ooh.
So you could still die, but you just had a lot of firepower until you died. That definitely.
All right. So I love Pac-Man. This is awesome. Pro tip: you won't believe. I guarantee you've seen a Miss Pac-Man Galaga machine. You've seen them. It's like class of 80 something. It's the newer ones.
They're everywhere.
Miss Pac-Man Galaga. Go to it. Put in one coin. Grab the joystick. Press up, 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 down, 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 left, right, left, and you'll see the red ghost turn to the pink ghost. If you did it right, then you press start and you play Pac-Man instead of Miss Pac-Man. They have a third game.
Boom. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to do that because I think a local pizza parlor has one.
Oh, it's the best. It's crazy. You get the high score every time because nobody knows it exists.
Going more modern. All the GTAs I believe have this. It's you get into a tank, you put on flying cars. Not very many cars fly very well, but if you get into a tank, you turn that cannon behind you, all of a sudden you're a jet plane. Best thing ever.
Alright, greatest cheat ever. Intentionally suck as much as you can at Donkey Kong Country Returns, and they will play the game for you. No, I'm kidding, that's just fucked up. Using the pro guide or whatever on Nintendo games where you suck enough, it plays the game for you, cheating. Just so you know. Even if it's in the game, it's cheating. That's BS. They shouldn't even put it in there. It's very frustrating. I'll have to go ahead and throw it on Contra. Alright, the Konami code. If you don't know this, you're an idiot. For one player, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. For two player, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start.
It's very important, kids. Because no second player wants to be that kid who's like, Where am I? Oh, you messed it up. Go, let me do it. Just give me the control. Let me do the code. And we've had that. I think even me and you did that whenever we went to go through our Contra playthrough. We're like, wait a minute, it's only one player. How did we select start?
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap us up. We're definitely going to need to wrap up on the greatest code. I do believe Contra Code is truly the greatest. You can do this on Google, you can do this on Facebook, and you get all sorts of cool stuff. Always try it out. All right, so go ahead, shoot us a message in the comments section. If any ideas for shows, we'll be happy to chat about it. But ultimately, what do you guys think is cheating? Is using game FAQs cheating? Are save states cheating? Like, are those legitimate or not?
Especially that Wii U one. Tell us about the Wii U one.
Yeah.
If I read it, if you only put one thing down, say Wii U, yes cheating, no cheating. That's all I care about.
I don't want any Wii U hate either. All right, let's not be fanboys over here.
We don't deal with that here.
All right. Anyways, we have a Facebook page now, so check us out on Facebook. I'll try my best to remember to put that in the description.
Hopefully by then we'll have a Twitter. I'm working on that at the moment.
That'd be cool. All right.
Subscribe, like, favorite, share with your friends.
Please do.
Do all that stuff.
Absolutely.
We will put obnoxious green boxes everywhere until you do.
You don't know, but there just happened to be a green box on every area you just pointed. That was pretty obnoxious. Anyways, let me go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, so anyways, until next time, I'm Michael V.
And I'm Tech.
And this has been Console Guts.
Boom.